Hello and welcome to Attacking Thirds, continued coverage of UEFA Euro 2025, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. I'm Sandra Herrera, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. We are at full capacity in the club. There are four of us today. I'm alongside Kelley O'Hara, Lindsey, and Jess McDonald for all of their takes as well. I want to thank everybody for joining us here on Attacking Third, whether you're joining us on YouTube, just listening as a podcast, or if you're here live with us. We're just happy that you're here. And let us know that you're here because we see you all going off in the chat. You've got feelings about the semifinal. Let us know what you're thinking about it because we're going to let you know what we're thinking about it too because we've got to talk about all things semifinal between Germany and Spain. Lori, how are you? I gotta say, like we had a watch along. We were hanging out, but we need to do the check-in with you. How are you?
No, I'm great. Loving every second of this tournament, but also I feel exhausted. I mean, I feel like I'm playing in these games. I was telling you all before we came on air that I'm like doing fist pumping. I'm like animated, like acting out what I'm saying because it's bananas.
I love it.
But yeah,
I'm just happy that you made it because I wanted to hear. I wanted you to be here for this plug. I know you got a lot on your plate, Lori, but I want to let you know and everybody know that Attacking Third has been nominated yet again for a People's Choice Award for Best Female Hosted Podcast, and we absolutely need your help to reach the finals. All you have to do is register to vote at podcastawards.com/app/sign up, and once you do, you can go ahead and select the drop-down menu for Best Female Hosted Podcast and go ahead and select Attacking Third. That's all you got to do. It's going to take about 60 seconds, hopefully less. And we would appreciate all of your love and support. Thanks, everybody, for always being in our corner. Go out and vote for us. Oh, my goodness. I had to get my breath, not just to get through that read, but to just get ready to talk about this game. Who could have predicted amongst us that we were going to get another extra time semifinal? But turns out that's the way it goes. Listen, spoiler alert, it's here for you. We're going to be talking about the result. We're going to be talking about the scoreline. Spain advanced to the Euro final on a 1-0 scoreline in extra time over Germany. The goal coming in the 113th minute in this match, a worldie by Aitana Bonmati. For Spain, this is massive. First ever victory against Germany. I think we need to start there with sort of the historic angles for this one. Kelley, I want to go to you with this because we were doing this watch along and it just sort of felt like any second now, like something's going to happen. And the momentum shifts were massive in this one. At one point, maybe we all felt it was going Germany's way. Then at another point, we thought maybe it could go Spain's way. But it ends up going for Spain, and they get to not only go to this final, but do it in a way where they kind of slay a bit of their demons.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the fact that I didn't know this until going into this game, but Spain has never beat Germany in the Euros or any major tournament. Is that correct, Sandra?
Yeah.
That's the stat?
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy to think about, but you're right. No, I think the game definitely had its momentum shifts. I think in the first half, I thought Germany actually did a really good job of disrupting Spain and not letting Spain do what Spain wants to do. I thought they did a really good job of being disciplined, staying in their 4-5-1 after Spain had very clear possession of the ball and were trying to play and possess on the ball. I think that they played that really well. I know Spain probably had more shots on goal, but I actually think Germany had more like legit chances in the first half, but maybe that's just me being biased. I think then shifting to the second half, Spain clearly had more possession of the ball, was possessing in Germany's half. And, Germany, in my opinion, was kind of like hanging on for that transition moment. And then in overtime or extra time, it's anybody's game and you just got to grind through. And Spain took advantage of their moment and their chance. And like you said, Bonmati, if one person was going to do it or player was going to do it, it was going to be her. And she scored an amazing goal. And I'm sad to see Germany go out this way, but hats off to Spain for making it happen.
No, I love that shout. Like if it was going to be someone, it was going to be her because for Spain going into this match, they had 10 different players on the score sheet for them in this tournament alone, let alone Esther Gonzalez, like leading the way in the Golden Boot race, like followed by Alexia Putellas. Jess, I'd like to go to you with this as a former striker. When it is your job as the striker to score those goals, but yet your team has so many goal scorers going into such a big match? Does it elevate your game even more, kind of knowing that you're going into this sort of high stakes environment?
Oh, it most certainly does, because you want to push your teammates day in and day out when it comes to the training environment. You're going head to head, and then when you come together as a team, you're almost competitive, but you also want to set up your teammates as well. So it's all about finding those moments where you're going to be selfless or selfish. And so with that being said, it's all about trusting those around you. And that's exactly what Spain brings to the table. And you could totally tell by the way that they're combining in the final third, and then the shots that they do end up creating for themselves. It's just honestly chef's kiss. And I'm here for it. And it's been entertainment for a really long time. So all credit to all the strikers, and they had nine different goal scorers so far this tournament, which is unreal. So, hey, if I'm setting up a teammate who I know who can score a golazo, that's pretty much everyone on the pitch. So I'm here for that.
No, I hear you 100%. Lori, I got to get you in on this because you've been watching a million hours of soccer, and we got to make sure that you're still tapped in, that your engine is still going. And we've heard you on these calls, and when you're doing the prep for a game like this, you got Germany versus Spain. Germany, we know they had to get through a lot of hurdles to kind of get through this point. And then if you're Spain, they're not only looking like the co-favorites in this tournament, but in this game specifically, they have a lot of opportunity in front of them to go ahead and just kind of take control of this game. Was there ever any moment in your call on this game where they looked like this team that just absolutely had control at any moment of this game?
That Spain had control of this game? Yeah. I mean, I think, there's long stretches where I think they felt like they had control. They knew, I mean, it's not a secret that their vulnerability is in transition defensively, right? So that is something they're willing to give away to push players forward and to create more opportunities. So I think credit to them. They did know that was going to be an issue, especially with Brandt and Buell. And they defended those moments at least off-footed. It's not even a word. I might be speaking some wild, making up some words at this point in time, but they wrong-footed Buell quite a bit. I think she had some heavy touches. I mean, she put herself in some great positions, but nothing came off. So I think there was long stretches where they would have felt frustrated, but still in control, knowing that it was just a matter of time. And I think that speaks to, one, you have fresh legs. You have players that can come off the bench. You can change out that entire front three if you want to, and it looks similar yet very different, which is just wild in itself, depending on who you bring on. And then also you have two of the best players in the world in Bonmati and Putellas, and they just need one chance. And it is about staying calm in those moments and looking for the moment to take. And honestly, as a lapse in concentration, they give the ball away. I mean, Spain's biggest thing is their repress, right? Their counter press to be able to lock teams in. I thought Germany had done a really good job for most of the game on when to pick those moments to just alleviate pressure or try to play through that. But when you have heavy legs, tired minds, you play into that. And that's what led to that Bonmati opportunity. And then everybody's scrambling at that point in time.
Throwing it back a little bit, as these two teams were going into halftime, a scoreless game at this point, where it kind of has that energy of the scales can be tipped in anyone's favor. I couldn't help but think of that. Just think about how Spain has probably got this bench in front of them to kind of just dip into, in case, that very nice kind of break in case of emergency type of concept. Whereas Germany, obviously, they've got huge limitations in this one. But for what the game was giving, it didn't really feel like this is a Spain side that's gonna come out and immediately make these changes, and they didn't. And I'm glad that they didn't. I thought Patri had an incredible game in the midfield for Spain. I think during certain stretches, I think kind of outshining Putellas at certain times in terms of what her responsibilities were, and in terms of trying to reset things for this Spain side. But it did sort of feel like, for me anyway, that as this game got further into the deeper minutes here, that maybe Spain would feel a little bit panicked at times because of maybe some of all of those historic things that come into play. Those things that kind of maybe creep into your head where you're just like, Jesus Christ, we've never beat this national team before. What does it mean? We're getting good looks, but they're not going in. All of these things. Walk me through that a little bit, Kelley. I'd love to hear, because I mean, like, you're no stranger to going up against a German side in a huge semifinal. Like, walk me through that energy of like not getting those looks or getting that finishing, but knowing that you still have to just sort of keep going against this stingy German side.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I actually was thinking more so in I understand what you're asking about around Spain and getting worried. Like, I think Spain going into this game was probably like, we are the better team. We've had the better tournament. We have the deeper bench. We have more players available. We haven't played as many minutes. Like, they for sure were probably walking to this game being like, we have the advantage. We have the upper hand here. But like you said, as the game went on and they weren't converting, it was still tied at 0-0. They do have the history of, we've never beat Germany before. Yeah, that definitely probably creeps into someone's mind. It would probably creep into mine. I would hope that I would be able to like shut it out, but it exists and it's there. So it's like, how do you handle that? And I thought that was maybe going to be what would tip the scales in Germany's favor of Spain not being able to handle, like, we're deep into a game. We have to go into extra time. We have to, dig it out late into these minutes. But they obviously, Spain was able to do it. And I was thinking when Spain scored, I was like, man, to beat Germany right now and think I have 5 minutes to get to level this game, to equalize. Can we do it? Like, did they have the legs? Did they have the heart? Did they have the energy? And it's just, they obviously didn't, but I've been in that place before. You're like, shoot, I got to put everything on the line right now. And I feel like that's what this game kind of presented for both sides.
Yeah, 100%. We see Spain try to like shake things up a little bit. They know they have the bench, so we see Montse Tomé like tap into that. We see Salma Paralluelo come into this game. We see Athenia del Castillo come into this game to try to shake things up a little bit. And I think as things get a little bit further down the stretch, as this thing kind of remains 0-0, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it sort of kind of felt like during certain stretches of those final 15 as if like Germany was making sure that they were just trying to play to maybe get to extra time a little bit, where it was like that's where their strength was. Did it feel at all similarly to you, Lori?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it was also them just having to manage different moments of the game. I mean, I think the thing that they did so well is, and we said this at the very beginning of the game, because to your point about whether or not Spain also felt panicked. I don't know if that's actual emotion, but like there would have been something like that. It maybe was frustration because they want to enjoy their football. They want to move it around. They want to be able to possess and create all these combinations and stuff. And Germany, I felt like, did a really good job of disrupting that because they're aggressive with their first set of pressure. And it forced Spain to have to play a little bit more quickly than maybe they actually want to at times. At least they weren't able to get like that third player run that causes so many teams defensively an issue. But I think because to go back to, I say that because to answer your question more specifically, I think there was times when they just had to kind of play into that. They had to find ways where they had to like pull it back and make sure they just didn't get too stretched, because if they do attack and they're going after the games, that's when they're going to be most exposed, because they're going to be space between the lines, and that's where Spain can get in between and just start running at that back line. Especially once Paralluelo came into the game, she can get in behind, she can play in front. So I just felt like that was just the natural shifts of the game that were going to happen.
Maybe spinning it ahead a little bit. They eventually get to this extra time. Bonmati scores this ridiculously incredible goal, and the sequence on this is just Spain understand the moment. They're in like go mode, and we see Bonmati kind of working her magic a bit toward this end line, and she's on this ridiculous angle and absolutely nails this goal. Kelley, you said it couldn't be anyone else earlier. Why?
Because I think that, I mean, in the moment, you think she's going to cross the ball, right? You even see Anne-Catherine point to her defenders, like, everybody make sure you're marked up. And I think most players would take a look up and be looking across the 6-yard box and not at the goal. And maybe that's why I didn't score as many goals as I could have, because I wasn't looking at the goal. I was looking across always. I was like, it's not my job, it's somebody else's job. I'm going to give it to them, put it there, they're going to put it away. But you see her look up, and in that moment, she sees Anne-Catherine, she sees Berger pointing, and again, I don't think anybody but Bonmati can put it like perfectly at that angle, at that speed, in that moment with that pressure. She puts it perfectly, and I think everybody probably watching was like, I literally was like, oh my God, I could not believe it that she scored that goal in the way that she did. So incredible by her. And again, I think that it was the only players that was scoring that was Bonmati, and she did. So hats off to her. Incredible.
It definitely looked like a moment where you could just sort of see like a player's awareness and presence of mind coming to life exactly at that moment. And all it took was just like that little lapse of like Berger trying to direct traffic. And it was like that quick fleeting moment. And it was all Bonmati needed. But this is high stakes, high drama, second half of extra time. You're the team that goes ahead on this goal. But it almost sort of feels like there's still too much time left in this moment. You're like 5-6 minutes and that type of high drama scenario, you're like, oh my God, that's like way too much time. I have to I want to have us touch a little bit maybe on Paralluelo's performance as well, kind of in this final stretch, because this was this player that kind of was supposed to be this impact sub, and this is your forward. Jess, I'd love to hear your perspective on this, because this player goes from being an option off the bench as a striker option to try to get Spain ahead. The goal doesn't happen for this player specifically, but now that this happens in this moment and extra time, you have to turn a different switch. You are now a forward. You are an attacking player who has to play defensively. Talk me through making that mental switch.
Yeah, the mental switch is so difficult if you have never been a game changer at the pro or international level. You have no idea how quickly that switch has to be turned on and how challenging it can be being a game changer. I think Paralluelo did very well coming in. She stretched the defense. She got in some 1v1 situations with Berger. She was very dangerous in the final third. So we have to give hats off to her coming in, trying to make that difference. I think she did really well. Her runs, checking to the ball when she needed to, trying to get in behind. But being a game changer, I think a lot of people fail to realize how fast the game is. Even if it is, let's say you get subbed on in the 87th minute, you're like, whoa, okay, I need to breathe, because you're going crazy once you get in. Like you're running like a chicken with your head cut off until you really settle into the game. You want to talk about nerves? Being a game changer is a much more difficult role than people realize. Even if you just get 3 minutes, it is still so hard, because you have to catch up to the pace of the game. And the game is at, there's no 0 to 100. It's at 100 nowadays, especially in women's football. So every game you're going into, it's going to be difficult. But I think Paralluelo did her job as a striker. She created a lot of great moments for the Spanish side. Of course, we would love to have seen her score, but, I think she did really well playing such a difficult role.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I love to hear you say that, because I was like, gosh, this player is also like on a yellow too. So like that was a little bit nervy as well. I was like, oh my goodness, like you could see the switch happen, and like she was trying to make sure she was marking, and there was a couple fouls that were given there, and I was like, oh no, like could you have, like you don't want to get that second yellow. But as far as spinning this forward, like they end up closing this out. They end up sealing the deal. The one brilliant goal is all that is necessary. Lori, looking ahead, you got to prep for England versus Spain now. How does Spain sort of capitalize on all of this momentum that they've generated over the course of this tournament? Because they are they've navigated these Euros as a bit of like co-favorites alongside England. It's like you want to give respect to Lionesses in the sense where it's like they're the reigning title holders. They're obviously returning back to the final. And you've got Spain as 2023 World Cup champions, who are obviously going to make some noise in this tournament. And now they're going to go head-to-head, the two of them, in a repeat of that 2023 World Cup final. So for Spain specifically, since we're talking about them as the ones being to advance, what do they have to do to not only say, like, yes, World Cup champions, but don't forget we're also running things in Europe as well?
Yeah, I think this game prepared them extremely well for this final. I think they couldn't have asked actually for a better semifinal because they had actually floated pretty easily through this tournament. I mean, 9 different goal scorers. I mean, anybody on that team is scoring goals. And I think this is the first game that they had to really kind of battle and then like look themselves and be like, okay, we're going to have to dig deep. We need our best players to show up in these moments. They didn't get a ton. That's a great shot. It wasn't an easy game for them, right? This is the first time that I felt like somebody battled them physically and actually stretched them mentally. And that was always going to be the aspect of Germany that I think would carry them over, especially after their quarterfinal game against France. So I think similarly, England's going to look at this game and be like, okay, we have to go in. We have to play physically. We need to like win the first tackles. We need to not allow them to like give them too much time and space to play, too early balls, play long at times they didn't want to. So I think the mentality that they get out of this game, there's so many pinwheels at different times happening. I think this sets them up to be like, great, we've got to step up. We've got to be ready for a battle versus England. But I think this past game just prepares them for that.
How about you, Kelley? Do you agree, disagree? Do you think Spain's got all the momentum going into this one?
Yeah, I think exactly what Lori
said. Is
Kelley
pinwheeling to you all too? Or was I the one that was...
Just you, bud. Just
That's hilarious because all three of you were going to the pinwheels.
We were nervous. I was like, dang, Lori's over there cooking and she's about to cut out. But no, we're still here. We got it all.
I'm saying the greatest things and you all were pinwheeling.
You were. We were worried. We were nervous. Oh my goodness.
We've lost Lori.
You said so many good things that Kelley was about to say how she agrees with you.
The internet exploded.
I agree exactly what Lori said. I think Spain should be pumped that they have this game under their belt going into the final. I think if there's any team that is similar to England, it's going to be Germany in the way that they play. England is a physical team. They're aggressive. And I think that Spain now should feel confident playing against England, although they probably did even before that. I think if anything, England should take a page out of Germany's book and kind of dissect this game and figure out, okay, how can we try to replicate what Germany did here? Because it was successful for 115 minutes of the game. And, find the little nuances where maybe they can thread the needle or find a little weakness. And really, it's just about capitalizing on the transition moments. Like Germany had those times, they had those moments, but they weren't able to capitalize. So I think this game is actually a really good picture for both teams. So it's who is able to go into the meetings, go into the scouting and make a really good game plan and execute that game plan on Sunday.
Jess, I got to imagine that you feel differently. So before we close out, I want to give you the opportunity for this segment because look, I don't want to put my homie on blast, but she did get England as her pick to take this whole tournament. So I got to imagine that you feel differently, that maybe England's got something to prove in this final somehow.
I absolutely do. So y'all, my predictions were before the tournament even started, England taking it, Spain getting second, Germany in third. That was my original prediction. So I'll pat myself on the back for that. But anyway, honestly, we have seen so many ups and downs from this English side. They didn't start the tournament off the way that they wanted to going up against France. Then they go into the next game. They beat all odds against Netherlands and go and crush it 4-0. So we've seen some greatness out of this English side, especially from their game changers. I think Serena Wiegmann has been making her changes at the right time. People have been questioning it, but they've been executing when they come into games. So I think that England right now, they have that dog in them. You see Lucy Braun strapping herself up in the middle of the game, doing Lucy Braun things. And you just see this team fight. And this is a very difficult team to fight up against because you could tell that, when they go into these games, even though they go down, you could see it. You're like, okay, England's about to get another one. Okay, they're about to tie this. Like it's going to happen before full time when they're down 1-0, still fighting. And with that being said, I think England is going to still take it. I'm sticking with my prediction because they are playing with that dog in them, and I am here for it.
I love it. Stick to your guns, because let me tell you, I had Germany winning this, so I'm out. But I will say this: it was very lovely to see these two teams going head to head, because for those of us stateside watching this, we were definitely watching a little bit of the club on club violence. We were looking at Esther and Katrin Berger going head to head in this one for their respective national teams as Gotham FC teammates. There was a really lovely moment at the end of towards the end of the match here, where you have your enemies for however long the game goes on, but as soon as it ends, maybe you do the hellos and the jersey swaps. And I love this image. If you're joining us live, you get to see this huge Anne Katrinberger jersey on Esther, followed by the swap for AKB with the much shorter Esther jersey. So lovely scenes to exit this one. Spain on their way to face England in the final. In Germany, they had it all until they didn't. We're going to give them a little bit of a postmortem right after a quick break. Welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. Germany, they're on the outs on this one. They've got ambitions for third only now in this tournament. It's a little bit of postmortem, so I'm gonna be sad about it. Not just because I had them as my pick to maybe go ahead and win it all, and I'm a little bummed about that, but just impressive in terms of the way that they found themselves navigating this tournament. I don't think any pundits out there could have predicted that Germany would go through some of these hurdles that they had to go through over the course of this Euro tournament. We're talking from literally the opening game of the group stage, losing your team captain, one of your key players on the back line there, and Julia Vin. And maybe that's where the switch happens. You find yourself as the team trying to rally around the roster that is there. And we saw, maybe this rise of Carlotta Wamser over the course of this Euros tournament, where maybe folks weren't anticipating that she would have the role that she would. But they found themselves all the way into the semifinal. And for you, Lori, what was it about this Germany team? Was there something else that we learned about them that we didn't know going into this competition?
Yeah, I really think that this feels like a team that's going to be back winning championships. And I was talking with Ari, because Ari Hinks, who does a lot of the studio for these games for Fox, and former German national team, so played against her. And she was part of the German national team when they were at their height, right? When they were winning the Euros, they were winning the World Cup. And I was asking her what she felt like the difference was. And because at that point in time, what I felt like made them so special is they had like that German discipline defensively that we're so used to seeing. They were dangerous on set pieces, but there was also this like creativity and fluidity, and all of that is like just a dangerous mix, right? They were basically unstoppable. And so I felt like, well, when I was talking with her, one of the things that she said is that De Brits is the only one, which we knew, that is left from their 2013 Euros championship team. So this team they've had like a lot of players that have dealt with injury. They've had players that have retired earlier than expected. So there has been more turnover than I think they have expected within this more recent group. And also they haven't won. And I think that shows for England in particular too, how much that's needed to like give you energy to understand and have belief in these major tournaments that you can dig yourself out at times when you need it the most. And I think that this game will give Germany that, because they lost, right? Like last year in the Olympics, when they had a good run, they put in an amazing shift despite all of the trials and tribulations they went through in this tournament. So I think this sets them up for being like, yep, we can dig deep. We have the belief, we have the togetherness. We're incredibly fit because they're playing with 10 players when they don't really need to be. And they have versatility. And they have a lot of threats. So I think that that's what makes the shift, and that should drive them forward from here on out.
Kelley, Lori thinks Germany's going to be on their way to winning championships sooner.
And also, they're still third in the world, so I don't know. It's like acts like it's been doom and gloom for them. I mean, they're third in the world.
Can't cry too much over that, for sure.
But do you want to know what's interesting? you saying that, like, it's, people are like, oh, it's doom and gloom. They're third in the world. Like they've been at the top, but they haven't gotten to the top in a while.
Yeah. And the standard is that, right?
What I think is this Euros for them, in my opinion, is going to be an unlock. It's going to be the switch that triggers them to take that step forward and be contenders as champions in the next World Cup, in the next Euros. Because, and like Lori and Jess, you guys both know this, a team and a group of players have to go through hard times and come through them on the other side, get that win, like prevail, to know that they can do that moving forward. And I feel like this tournament was that for Germany. And I think that is, if I'm other countries, I'm scared, because you don't want these players feeling like, all right, we can play with 10 men and pull out a win for 107 minutes of a game and still win in PKs. Like, we can push it that far. Like, we can go with toe to toe with Spain until the 115th minute, even with not our strongest lineup. Like, to me, and we can lose to Sweden 4-1, but then turn around and play a France team and win. So I think that this, again, Germany's probably walking away being like, we wanted to win, but in my opinion, they learned really valuable lessons that they can take moving forward. And that, to me, might be a big difference maker for them in the next 2, 3, 4, 7, 10 years. For these groups.
I always said that's similar to Italy too, right? Yeah. This tournament should be a huge success for them, and the fact that they're like, oh, actually, we can compete. We have some naivety in the international game in terms of how to close things out, when to go to the corner flag, managing like specific moments. But I feel like that's a huge step forward for them too.
Yeah, those little things that Italy needs to clean up. Like, the mentality can't be taught. Like, you learn that, and there's little things that even Germany can probably clean up, and obviously Italy can too, that are just like so easy to learn, be taught. But both of those teams going through such like a emotional tournament, to me, is going to pay dividends for them moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you also like bring up Italy in the same breath as Germany, and like some certain things have to be taught. And I do wonder if maybe like we got to see some of the coaching on the sidelines kind of come to life a bit for either of these teams as the competition grew longer. And I think for Christian Wick and Germany said, I think maybe there were that was a question mark on Germany going into this tournament. We're talking about a first-time senior national team head coach. Like, how are they going to fare? Like, under those circumstances, how much is the seat hot? Is it not? Is there a lot of pressure? Is there less pressure because of those things? And I think we saw, whether it was for Italy or in this case in Germany, just kind of how the camaraderie and how everyone could have sort of just rallied around the circumstance in front of them. And I thought that it's something to keep note of, because I don't know if it's like you look at this German side and the things that they went through with this first-time head coach, and I don't think that you come out of this tournament and you say, oh, they need to make a change there immediately. If anything, it sort of feels like they're going to keep building moving forward. I don't know for you, Jess, if there was anyone in particular on this German side that caught your eye in the attack. I know we were watching this on the stream, and I was really high on Hoffmann, and I thought maybe she was someone who kind of really had to kind of show up and show out in light of all of these circumstances that they were going through.
Absolutely. I hate the fact that they went through so much adversity, but that's what defined them as a squad this tournament, that no matter the depth that they have, they're fighting. And Hoffmann was one of them, being able to get her chance, coming in and really being a huge difference maker. I'm a huge fan of Nüsken now too. I definitely have my eye on her as well. She was up and down the field in the quarterfinal. I think she's one of those players that they missed, because she was getting into the final third, being dangerous. She came into the game electric in the quarterfinal, tying the game up 1-1 as soon as they went down to 10 men. So it's just been amazing just to see that fight from the front line all the way to the back, and just how they just fought for one another. And those who got to get more minutes this tournament and not expecting them, they showed up as well. You could tell that they had a game plan. They might not have executed it as much as they would have liked, but they executed. They made it this far. They should be proud of themselves, representing their nation and also as a team.
I'm with you. I think we're all in agreement. We're just like, thank you for your service, Germany. It's been a real joy to watch you, despite kind of all of the agony that we have seen them go through along the way. But it's going to be Spain versus England in this upcoming Euro final. You know, we'll be there for you to recap all that, preview it, give you all the reactions after the game. But we're not done with attacking third. No. We've still got some more women's soccer to chat up about with you all. We're going to be chatting all things women's AFCON right after a quick break. Hello and welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. We just wrapped up all of our reactions to the semifinal between Spain and Germany in the Women's Euro. And now we are going to touch on Women's AFCON. Maybe do a little bit of a final preview here because it's been a busy summer. We've been trying to touch on Copa America, winning where we can. We've been trying to touch on Women's AFCON, winning where we can. Shout out to all of this NWSL representation throughout all of these different competitions throughout the summer. We've talked about how many players are out there, so much to the point that NWSL had to hit the pause button, take a little bit of a break. And that also included in the Women's AFCON as well. So the final is gearing up to be Morocco versus Nigeria in this one. It's going to be exciting. I took a little bit of an eye on that semifinal between Nigeria and South Africa. That was a very, very exciting game. And Nigeria, I don't know, for me, kind of playing with a little bit of kind of the mentality where they've got like some unfinished business, right? Like they got knocked out in the previous AFCON, and this is a tournament which they've typically dominated in the past, and now it sort of feels like they're kind of operating with that mindset. They're just like, no, we are the queens of women's AFCON here, like, and we're here to remind everybody. So I'm gearing up for this one. I'm hopeful that we're gonna get hopefully like a really good final, because on the other side of things for Morocco, they're going to find themselves in their second Women's AFCON final after they unfortunately had a loss in the 2022 final against South Africa, a narrow 2-1 loss in that one. So maybe they've got some things to prove as well. Either way, I think it's gearing up to be a pretty exciting final. And then there's also going to be the third place match between Ghana and South Africa that takes place on Friday, July 25th. But I think for me, one of the more exciting things about this competition is some of the prize money that is involved in this competition. Because while we love to see all of the soccer, while we love to see women athletes do the amazing things that they do, we also want to make sure that they're taken care of and that the prize money is where it needs to be. So one of the things that I really like about this is that not only is there the prize money here for this tournament, but it has increased. We're talking 45% compared to the 2022 tournament. The winner of this one gets $1 million for this tournament. And then you've got prize pots for runner-up. You've got prize pots for third place, fourth place. If you're a quarterfinalist, each team gets $200K, third of the group, fourth of the group. Like the fact that there's just money and that it's tiered money, for me, was something kind of like piqued my interest a bit. Kelley, I'd like to get your perspective on this, because I feel like a big narrative and storyline around women's sports in general, doesn't have to just be women's soccer, is about things like this. Like, what are the ways in which we can measure that women's sports is ever growing? And honestly, it's, for me anyway, it's about the money. It's showing that revenue coming in. It's seeing these valuations. It's looking at women's AFCON and saying, okay, that's a good start.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's a good start. I think it's baby steps, if I'm being completely honest, but steps are steps, which is good. I'd be interested to know what the split of the money is. How much are the players going to see? How much is going to the federation? That would be what my first question would be, and I would love to know. And I don't know if that's public information, but or if it varies from federation to federation. But again, yeah, you want to see this investment. Obviously, 45% increase, great. We love an increase, but just keep on keeping on. Let's keep moving up.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. We like to have a little fun here on Attacking Third. Sometimes we like make predictions. I gave Jess an opportunity to keep talking about how she's got England in the mix for taking the Euros all the way. So I'm curious as far as Nigeria versus Morocco. Laura, let's start with you. Do you think like there's going to be a bona fide winner in this one? Who have you got in this one?
Yeah, I think it was when Zambia and Nigeria were playing earlier, because I haven't been able to watch much in this tournament, in all honesty, because I've obviously had the focus on the Euros. But
You've been in Europe.
I think I actually had Zambia winning, so I've really gotten it wrong already. But I'm going with Nigeria. I think, obviously we have the NWSL players that play on Nigeria, and just the experience that they have. Yeah, I'm giving them the win. And also, I was muted when I said pay the players really loudly when when Kel was like, see that increase. And then I said it with a lot of passion. And then it was like, your mic is muted. And that was
great. What a great start. Can't wait for the next Women's AFCON to see that kind of balloon up. No, I'm with you 100%. I'm kind of like wondering if maybe we're going to go like 4-for-4 here. I'm with you. I can't help but look at this Super Falcon side and say like, kind of what I echoed earlier, like they just look like they're kind of playing with the veggies here. And if I had to put a scoreline on it, I think maybe because it's such a high stakes kind of environment, maybe it'll be more narrow. So maybe like another 2-1. Sorry, Morocco. I gotta go with the Super Falcons in this one. How about you, Jess?
Yeah, I'll have to go with Nigeria on this one, just because they have more NWSL players, but not to take credit away from Morocco, because I thought they were absolutely brilliant in the World Cup. Definitely caught me off guard on how fantastic they were. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to have to go with Nigeria on this one, and I think it'll be 1-0. I think it'll be a sweep.
Nice. You got a dog in this race? Got a dog in this fight, Kelley?
I'm going to choose Nigeria, and it's because I think they're going to win, but also I think that they have some of the best kits in all of.
Listen, that matters. Look good play. It matters.
Like every time they come out with a new kit, I'm like,
exactly.
How do I get one? Like they're sick. They never fail to hit it right. They get it right every time.
I just want to say, if folks are looking for parity on this segment, you're gonna get it, because even though like we're over here talking about like, look, we just really feel like Nigeria's gonna go out and take this. We ran a poll, and according to the chat thinks Morocco is gonna have what it takes to get this one out. They're going with the home side. They are the host. They're gonna be playing for something much bigger, it feels like, in this one. But it's by slim margins. 53% say Morocco will take this, compared to 47% on the pollster. So we'll see. We're definitely going to revisit that for sure to see like who's going to take them. I don't know. I feel like Asia Ashwala, Michelle Lozia, they might have something to say about that. And we'll see. We'll see. Find out. Make sure you tune on in to the final. It's going to take place on Saturday, July 26th. Make sure you tune into Women's AFCON. Make sure you turn into Women's Copa America Femenina when you get the chance. And of course, make sure you turn in to the Women's Euro as well. The final is going to be taking place on Sunday, but we'll be back tomorrow. We're coming right back here on Thursday, because we need to go ahead and get you the preview. We need to talk about all things Spain versus England. We need to take the deep dive. I'll be back right here on YouTube, but that's a wrap for us. Make sure you follow Attacking Third wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating and review. We're available on youtube.com/Attacking Third. That's where you can find us. Go ahead and subscribe, like, make sure you tap back in here. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow us on CBS Sports Golazo Network for all of your women's coverage. For our producers, Adri and Mark, for Kelley, Lori, and Jess, I'm Sandra. This was Attacking Third. Thanks for being here, y'all.